Okay, so Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuhu. By the way, again, my name is Mohammed Work and I am the number 30 reporter. So, before we will going to proceed to my topic, let us first know what are our learning objectives. So, we have 4 learning objectives. Number 1, to discuss stress debriefing. To discuss the different types of debriefing, to further discuss the critical incident stress debriefing, and to discuss the 7 stages of critical incident stress debriefing. So first, we will going to tackle what is stress debriefing. Stress debriefing in disaster response. So kung mapapansin natin, itong stress debriefing, it includes assessment of or about what are the impact of the disaster. Ano yung naging impact nito sa mga tao, sa paligid na kung saan natamaan, kung saan yung mga naapektuhan ng isang disaster. So the aim of all disaster mental health management, including any type of debriefing, should be the human, competent, and compassionate care of all affected. Which means yung stress debriefing is particularly yung target nito is yung para ma-lessen yung traumatic, post-traumatic na maaaring maranasan ng mga biktima ng isang disaster. So next is we will going to discuss about the different types of debriefing. So we have here 3. The operational debriefing, psychological or stress debriefing, the critical incident stress debriefing. So mauna tayo sa operational debriefing. In operational debriefing, it covers all the factors, specifically yung safetyness or yung naranasan ng mga biktima, ng mga nasalanta ng isang disaster. Yung kanilang safetyness, kagaya ng nasabi ko kanina, yung kanilang safetyness, ano nga ba yung kanilang mga na-experience. So yun yung sa operational debriefing. While dito sa psychological or stress debriefing, it focuses on the psychological. Kung ano yung impact ng isang disaster in terms of psychological. Naging impact in terms of psychological sa mga nabiktima, yung mga naapektuhan ng isang disaster. So dito naman tayo sa critical incident stress debriefing. So dito sa Critical Incident Stress Debriefing or the CISD, primarily focus siya dun sa mga rescuers. Diba? Sa isang disaster, dapat yung mga rescuers kailangan handa sila or well prepared. Kumbaga, wala silang dinadalang ang problema kasi paano sila makakapag-rescue kung mismo yung mga rescuers, paano nila mare-rescue yung mga nabiktima kung mismo sila is may dinadala silang problema. So dito sa Critical Incident Stress Debriefing, focus din siya dun sa mga rescuers dahil dun sa mga victims, mga nabiktima ng nasalanta ng isang disaster. So dito, ang focus nito is para malasan para din siya sa para ma-lessen yung post-traumatic stress ng mga biktima para hindi na lumala yung kanilang trauma o yung yung experiences nila para ma-lessen yung post-traumatic na meron sila. So yun yung sa critical incident stress debriefing or the CISD. So, proceed tayo dito sa critical incident. So, in critical incident, it is another term for a traumatic event. So, dito sa critical incident, refers to the any occurrence faced by the public safety responders. So kagaya ng sinabi ko kanina, focus din ito, yung sa critical incident stress debriefing, di ba, nabanggit ko doon na yung yung focus po nun is yung mga rescuers, yung mga responders natin na pupunta or mag-respond sa community na naapektuhan ng isang disaster. So, basically, para maging effective yung para walang mangyaring para ma-lessen yung post-traumatic nga kanina sinabi ko, yung post-traumatic na magiging mararanasan ng mga nasalanta ng isang disaster. So yun yung focus na critical incident. So next tayo. So the next one is the examples of critical incidents. So examples of primarily yung mga examples ng critical incidents, these are the incidents wherein very harsh or very yung effect ng isang incident na nangyayari. So dito makikita natin itong catastrophic fires, mass shootings, workplace violence, serious accidents, natural disasters like storms, wildfires, earthquakes, and etc. So ito yung mga karaniwang halimbawa ng critical incidents. So next tayo. Dito tayo sa short and long-term side effects of a critical incident. Ito yung short and long-term side effects. So dito, numbness or shock, life-disrupting emotions, di ba? Very malaki yung impact ng isang disaster in terms of kanilang emotions, psychological reactions. Pwedeng ma-build up yung mga psychological reactions nila, just like anger, denial, grief, confusion, terror. Kung yung behavior nila is may may something na sila. So, yung behavior na yun is pwede siyang lumala. Pwedeng lumala yung kanilang behavior, which it will threaten na maging mas malala pa yung kanilang post-traumatic stress. So dito, meron din dito difficulty eating and or sleeping. So di ba kapag may mga problema tayo or di ba madalas nag-overthink po tayo, minsan hindi tayo nakakatulog, hindi tayo nakakakain ng maayos. Then missed work. So yun, namimiss nila yung mga trabaho nila dahil hindi sila makapag-focus. Substance use problems, relationship difficulties, kadalasan it will lead to magiging dysfunction yung family na meron sila, just like madaling uminit ng ulo nila, kadalasan magkakaroon ng problema sa family relationships nila, sa mga kaibigan nila. So it will lead also to depression and anxiety. So yun yung mga short and long-term side effect of a critical incident. So next, dito, na-emphasize po dito yung critical incident stress debriefing. So in critical stress incident debriefing, it is a highly specific structured crisis intervention to reduce traumatic stress. So yun yung primary goal ng critical incident stress debriefing is to reduce traumatic stress and increase coping, kung paano nila lalabanan yung kanilang experiences o yung kanilang na-experience, paano nila malalagpasan yun, paano nila i-handle. And facilitate group solidarity among people who have experienced the same trauma together. So, ito sa critical incident stress debriefing, parang pwede natin gamitin dito yung tinatawag nila focus group discussion, wherein pwedeng mag-share yung mga victims kung ano nga ba yung kanilang mga experience, kung ano yung emotions na naramdaman nila, kung ano yung mga kanilang emotions, feelings, yung kanilang reaction during the disaster, before the disaster, and after the disaster. So yun yung sa critical incident stress debriefing. Next tayo is, we have here the 7 stages of critical incident stress debriefing. Number 1 is to assess the critical incident. So diba, just like what I have said earlier, na dito sa critical incident stress debriefing, focus din ito yung mga responders. So kailangan i-assess dito, assess the critical incident. Kailangan i-assess muna yung mga team leaders natin, yung mga responders natin, kung talagang magagawa nga ba nila yung kanilang task, kung wala ba silang mga difficulties, mga pinagdadaanan. So, yun yung sa assess the critical incident. Before sila pupunta doon sa community na naapektuhan ng isang disaster. So, step 2, identify safety and security issues. So, dito, napaka-critical itong step 2 kasi magkakaroon na dito ng interview, pwedeng one-on-one interview, pwede namang FGD. So, dun sa one-on-one interview, i-interview yung mga victims, hindi sila pipilitin na magsalita, pwedeng mag-a-ask tayo ng mag-a-ask yung mga responders kung ano yung mga kanilang naranasan, yung kanilang reactions, emotions, yung experiences nila before, during, and after the disaster. So yun yung sa step 2. So dito sa step 3 naman is allow venting of thoughts, feelings, and emotions. So dito, free na mag-share ng kanilang mga thoughts, feelings, and emotions yung mga victims. Kailangan yung isang responders is maging patient. Magkaroon ng patience na wag pilitin yung mga victims to open up their feelings, to open up their thoughts and emotions. Kinakailangan is they will wait until the victims open up. Kasi 'di ba, once napilitin natin yung victims na magsalita, maaaring matrigger pa yung kanilang trauma na naranasan during the disaster. So, step 4 is share emotional reactions. Yun, mag-share yung mga victims na kanilang emotional reactions, either sakit nga ba ito or malalim. So, dito sa step 4 is i-assess ng mga responders yung mga emotional reactions ng mga victims. So, very naman din, diba? Very understandable naman. So, dito sa step 5, review symptoms and the incident's impact. So, magkakaroon ng review analysis yung mga responders kung ano nga ba yung symptoms na naranasan or na-experience ng mga victims. Kung ano yung impact nito, both panlabas, panloob, both psychological, yung mental health nila, ano yung impact ng incident or yung disaster sa kanila. So step 6, teach and bring closure to the incident. So tuturuan yung mga responders, yung mga victims kung paano nila ma-cope up, paano sila makarecover dun sa trauma or dun sa experiences nila dun sa disaster, during, before, and after the disaster. So, pwede para kadalasan nagkakaroon ng ang tawag doon, seminars or ng mga activities para malesen yung trauma or stress na naranasan ng mga victims during the disaster, during, after, and before the disaster. Pwedeng yung mga responders natin is pwede sila mag-conduct ng activity like mga parlor games, mga ganun. Para nang sa ganun is malesen yung trauma or stress na naranasan ng mga victims. So, yun yung sa step 6. So, sa step 7 naman, assist in re-entering the workplace community. So, di ba, nung nagkaroon ng disaster, di ba, very naapektuhan yung community, yung surroundings. So dito, kailangan, yung mga responders natin, kailangan i-assist nila kung safe na nga ba yung community na balikan ng mga victims. Kailangan i-assess nila talaga kung yung mga nasirang buildings, mga infrastructures. Kasi kasi 'di ba, for example sa earthquake, 'di ba may mga crack pan na nangyayari. So pwedeng ma-trigger or mas maging malala yung impact ng isang disaster kapag hindi inassess ng mga responders, yung mga rescuers, kung yung buildings or infrastructures nga ba is safe na pasukan pasukan ng mga tao. So yun yung sa step 7. So hindi lamang siya nakafocus sa community, nakafocus din siya dun sa mga victims natin. So yun yung 7 stages of critical incident stress debriefing. So I have here a quotation according to American Red Cross 2011. So CISD or CISM interventions have not been shown to be effective in either eliminating or lessening the development of PTSD and should not be used for rescuers following a potentially traumatizing. So dito, nasabi dito na si stress debriefing is kailangan wag natin madaliin, kailangan ng much more time sa patients, sa mga rescuers. Hintayin nila yung pag-open up ng mga victims. So lastly, ang masasabi ko lang is whatever the stress na pwede nating maranasan, kinakailangan natin i-balance yung ating mental health, yung ating kalusugan, both psychologically, sa panlabas, kinakailangan natin i-balance. Huwag tayo masyadong dibdibin masyado yung mga problema o yung mga stress na nararanasan natin sa school, sa family, sa friends natin. Kailangan maging positive lamang tayo. So that's the end of my report. So thank you so much everyone and wassalam.